Calvin Castine at the Chazy Recreation Park. It's the 31st day of July 2005. Last day of July, and I don't know about the rest of you, but when it gets to the end of July, I almost feel like it's the last day of summer, but another month to go. And we are here for an annual event that takes place always on this last Sunday in July. That is the annual Old Home Day in Chazy, and a good part of that is the annual car show. There are hundreds and hundreds of people here already. We're taping this just a few moments after noon. The car show vehicles are still arriving. Tim Parker is busy signing the entrants as they arrive. And we're going to look around the grounds briefly. When we drove around the corner down by the fire station, we saw the first signs of fall. The political signs are up. There's a few political signs up. Politicians campaigning for the fall elections, and makes us feel that summer is definitely over. But it's only July 31st, and we're going to look at the bandstand area and see who's singing over there, and then we're going to go down and take a look at this car show. We should point out that they coexist here. There's a vehicle right here that has a Parker Chevrolet plate on it, and right next we have Riley Ford's. So on this Old Home Day, everybody peacefully coexists, at least for a day. Even Bucket Tremblay. Tremblay is here looking to find a car older than him. Not having much luck though. All years up to 1932, the sign says. And of course, the problem we have with taping this car show is if we get here too late, vehicles take off, and if we get here too early, they're still arriving. And as you saw moments ago, they are still arriving. This is George Legnard's 1930 Model A, complete with George. And it's right next door to a 1939, it said, 29, excuse me, I didn't think it was a 39, 1929 Sports Coupe, Gerald and Janet Dumas. And it's kind of a brownish color. George's is green. This one's brown. Love the running boards. All right, we had a reluctant George Legnard making his way here. Then he was interrupted by another interviewer. Is this something you ran over on the back here on your rumble seat? What is that?
That's a buffalo robe. That's an antique as well.
So you didn't run over a buffalo on the way here, then?
No, not really.
Okay, that's something that they would have worn in the back seat there in the years ago, right?
In the fall of the year or early winter, as long as they could drive. They needed something for warmth because there's no heaters in the car. On the inside, there's a heater from the manifold, but it really doesn't throw a lot of heat. So you needed some warm clothing or some cover-up if you were riding in the late fall or early winter.
Of course, this was following the horse and buggy era, so just having something over your head and windows on it was a step up. So they weren't quite as spoiled as we are today with heaters and defrosters and everything.
That's correct.
So how did you get this car, George?
Well, this is a car that I got back in the 70s. The late Gaylord Rowe was, as you know, interested in these old cars, and he was interested in getting the club started and wanted me to join the club. And I said, well, if we can find a Model A that I can restore, I'd really enjoy restoring it and joining the club. So he found this car for me. It was all there. It needed a restoration, and I spent 2.5 years in my spare time working on it, and it was a real fun project. Every bolt has been turned in it. Did all the work myself, including the paint job.
So how long has it been in the condition it's in right now? Is this the color you originally decided to paint it?
That color is an original color match right to the chip. And
I always heard that you could get any shade of black you wanted. That's not true? Didn't it all come in black?
Well, all of the lower section of the car, the running boards and the fenders, they were black. And then the bodies, they painted them according to body styles. And there were designated colors for each body style. And then the more deluxe models, this is a standard coupe, the more deluxe models had a stripe on the belt molding, and whatever color they painted the stripe, they also painted the spoke wheels. This being a standard coupe, the wheels are black.
Okay, so it was only the Model Ts that only came in black, not the Model As?
That's correct.
Okay. Gaylord Rowell had quite a collection, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He had a real nice collection, and he had a Model A Roadster of his own that he treasured very dearly. And he grew up with these cars, and he knew them inside and out, and there was nothing that he couldn't tell you about one of these cars.
Now, this was in the 70s that he found this for you. I would guess there probably aren't too many left around that haven't been gobbled up by restorers over the years. There probably aren't too many more hiding out there of this vintage.
Well, it's surprising. Sometimes you find them when you would least expect it. There are a lot of Model A's still living, if you will. It's just a matter of where you are at the right time, to be at the right place at the right time, I guess.
But the ones that are around have all been in the hands of collectors. They're not just sitting in some old guy's barn that his father had the car and that type of thing.
Probably the majority of them, but you'll still find them hidden away in barns, or people that have them and don't drive them and won't sell them or do anything with them. They just sit there. A little frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, because I think it's a shame that you come to these small car shows like this, that there's only a very small number of this type of a vehicle around. There should be more from the 30s and even into the 40s.
Yeah, well, the big demand today is the 50s and 60s stuff.
And you can and muscle cars.
Really, and you can drive them a little further, a little faster, and that seems to be the thing. Although these old, not necessarily just the Model A's, but the 30s vintage, it's a real fun year. They're real fun cars to drive.
Just between the two of us now, nobody else will get this, but I see there's some street rods over there, and I know street rods are popular, but I almost consider it a crime to doctor one of those up into a street rod. I think they ought to look like they did.
Well, for me, I strive for authenticity, but to each his own. If they've taken a car and made a rod out of it and they're enjoying it, that's fine too. I just wouldn't want one. I like the authenticity, but again, to each his own.
So at least it doesn't get your dander up, though, right?
Not really.
Okay, George, we appreciate you coming out of the shade to talk with us here. You were so relaxed and enjoying yourself, but we appreciate you taking time to chat with us.
Okay, Calvin, good talking with you.
This is the one that was pulling in while we were making our introduction. It's in the 33 to 42 class, and for the time being at least, it's the only one here. It's owned by a man from Chazy, even though it's got a Massachusetts plate on it. John Danahy, I guess, from Chazy. And it's an Oldsmobile convertible. It's a 1940. Kind of a burgundy color, I would describe it. It's got the wide white sidewalls. Rear window covers, rear wheel covers, not rear window here, this is in the Jimmy Stewart movie. Rear wheel covers. It's got a Massachusetts plate, and it's in very nice shape, and looks like the top is hidden under there, and the top could go up if we should get inclement weather, but no inclement weather is scheduled for today. It's got kind of small running boards on this one. No inclement weather today for the annual Chazy Old Home Day put on by the Lions Club every year. I'm not quite sure how the years get decided here, to get divided up. 43 to 52 is this category, and of course probably aren't too many 43s and 44s to look at. During World War II, all the forces went into producing material for the war. So car production came to a halt, and I think resumed in 46. So we're probably not going to find any 43, 44, 45s here. This is a Chevrolet, obviously in the 50s, early 50s. It's 1952. Peter Tatro of Peru is the owner. And it's Peru blue too. Gonna bring this to the Peru football games and fit right in here. (1952) Chevrolet. A real spare tire, not a donut. And there's a vehicle we've seen in the years past, or at least something that looks a lot like it. It's a 1950 Chevy Deluxe. And it's owned by Frank Henschel of Plattsburgh. And it's black, if you haven't figured that out. 1950 Chevy Deluxe. And again, it's got the white walls, the wide white walls. And it occurred to me a few years back that suddenly nobody has white walls anymore. I don't know when that happened. It just occurred to me that my car doesn't have white walls. If you had asked me, I would have probably said it did. And I realized that none of the cars have white walls these days. But you didn't have a good-looking vehicle years back unless you had white walls. Here is a black Plymouth Chazy Lions Club annual car show. This is Terry and Christina Gatto from Dannemora. And it's a Plymouth. The year, I'm not quite sure what that says. Looks like it's a... Looks like they're trying to say 46. Don't know. Maybe I'll look at the registration and see what that tells me. It's got the big trunk, so it might be a 46. Alright, registration does say it's a 46, and it does have that hip roof type of trunk. And trunk that was popular in a more pronounced style in the late 30s. It does have this start of the streamline look, where the roof is coming down in the back. Now here is a green one. It's a 50 Dodge. And it's Terry and Christina Gatto from Dannemora. So they each have a vehicle to drive to these car shows. Well, this is a beautiful car here. It's a I'm not quite sure what this model is here. Wayfarer, I guess. Wayfarer. It's got the thinner white walls with the Dodge hubcaps. Very nice shade of green. Real nice looking vehicle here. A lot of everything as we've seen so far has been attractive. As you can see, the style is very similar to the Chevy and even the Ford. They all kind of are similar in that era. And here's a Plymouth, also a Chrysler Corporation car, 1951. And Gary and Heather LaFountain of Katyville. One thing I wish they would bring back are these little vent windows that they used to have. These days, if you go down the highway with your windows open, within a week's time, you're going to have at least one insect landing in your lap. And I've had a bee or two come flying in and bounce off me, and that's a little distracting when you're going down the highway. This day of air conditioning, I guess they thought the style of those vent windows was unpopular and they've gotten away from them, but for safety reasons, I think they were worth having. That's going to conclude another short category here. The vehicles up to 1952. All black except for the green one. And of course, if you've ever watched any movies from the 50s or TV shows, you know everything was black and white back then anyway, so you expect everything to be black in the in the vehicles. Now we're into the day of the drive-in restaurant and the girls on their roller skates and going to the A&W and all those good things. There's this 1958 Pontiac Bonneville owned by Jack Wintermute from Willsboro. It's a metallic silver gray color with dark blue. Sharp looking vehicle. But then in 57 and 58 there weren't too many vehicles that weren't sharp looking. To me car styles reached their zenith in that era, 57 and 58. Except for the Studebaker, but we won't go into my feelings for the Studebaker here today. We're trying to do only positive things. But here it is, a nice, beautiful Pontiac Bonneville from 1958, parked right next to a 1959 Edsel. It's a Ranger model. This is a car named in honor of Edsel Ford. And the Edsel just didn't take off. Some of its features were ahead of their time. It was a big car, and somehow it just didn't turn out to be a popular model. And the Edsel was a name that drew a lot of laughter for many years. When you wanted to talk about a disaster, you'd talk about the Edsel. But if you look at it now, you'd say, hey, why not? But you gotta remember that every other vehicle in that era also had that nice looking lines, and this one here just for whatever reason never became popular. I'm sure if you know people who are car collectors, they could fill you in on what the problems were, but it's nice when you can find one, because there aren't that many around. And there's a popular color, 57 Chevy. Betsy and Roger Richards from Lake Placid own this one. Rick Garso just got in a 56 as we're taping this. This same type of color, but only darker, a deeper color than this. And it's a beautiful 56. This is a beautiful 57. The 57 Chevy is my all-time favorite. And of course, got the wide white walls, beautiful lines. Just have to love the look of the 57 Chevy. I think it has to be the most popular vehicle of the 50s. And the color inside coordinated with the outside color, so as long as you have those seats, you're not going to paint the outside any other shade than what you have right here. Chevy Bel Air from 1950. There's Brian Norcross with his own mode of transportation here for his youngsters. It's a Fairlane. It's a Ford. It's got a 2F170 plate, so it's in Clinton County somewhere. Richard Fozier. Dickie Fozier owns this one from Champlain. So we've seen this one before. It's a 55 Ford Sunliner. Beautiful red. I know when I bought 66 Ford with a similar red, similar, not exact. It was called a candy apple red. Not sure what the description of this red was. But it's a convertible. It's got the nice seats and a very nice interior. My guess is when you have a vehicle like this, you probably don't spend as much time as you'd like to behind the wheel and just cruising down the road, enjoying it. If you had a vehicle like this, you'd like to get out there and move down the highway in it, but they probably don't do that. There's a 1962 that we've seen many times over the years. A Dodge wagon, 4-door hardtop. Rudy Misek from Plattsburgh is the owner. We've certainly seen this in parades and at car shows over the year. I think it looks better every time we see it. I think we appreciate it more every time we see it. It's a 1962 Dodge station wagon. Now, if yellow was your color, we have one of them Studebakers. It's a 62. Wesley Mooney of Morrisonville owns it. 1962 Studebaker Lark. Studebaker is a car I never seemed to warm up to, and time hasn't changed that. It's all in the eye of the beholder, and if we all liked the exact same thing, it'd be a very dull world. But even so, it's nice to see a vehicle like this at the show. 1962 Studebaker. To get to that Studebaker, we went by this little roller skate here. It's a 1960 Austin Healey. Joe Shaw from Peru is the owner. And you're real low to the ground, really low to the ground when you're in this little buggy. It's called a Sprite. And it's a little difficult to stick this in the same class with these other vehicles, being a little foreign sporty model, but you got to stick them somewhere, so it's going to be kind of tough to judge it compared to the others. But there's Rudolph right now. Let me sec. As far as I know, the only judges of this car show every year are the people who bring in vehicles to show. So you bring in a vehicle and you judge the show. I'd imagine you're not allowed to vote for your own. There's a beautiful interior. You can imagine those seats get a little warm in the hot sun. No cloth seats there. It's a 1960 Oldsmobile. And Jim Goulet of Colchester is the owner. And it's black. A little red around the edge of the wheels. black with a little red trim. And he's got a little spider web effect added. I can guarantee you that wasn't on there in 1960. But it certainly doesn't detract. It's a low vehicle, as you can see. You can see how low it is behind. And it's a long one. It'd take you a couple tries to park something like this. So that's the 53 to 62 category. And the vehicles we've seen is really where my heart is, and that's showing my age. And based on the number of vehicles here, the ones we're about to see are the ones that are becoming more and more popular. A reminder that we will have the crowning of the king and queen of the Winter Carnival coming up sometime in today's program. Last year's king and queen, Glenn and Mary Latrimore, their reign will be over as of today, July 31st. And a new king and queen will reign over Chazy for the coming year. '63 to '72 is this next group. 1963 to '72. Norman DeLandez from Swanton, Vermont, brought this brown '72 Ford Thunderbird to the show. And pristine shape. A Ford Thunderbird, 1972. He's even got his car monogrammed. It's a deep, dark, I wouldn't call it chocolate brown, but close to a chocolate brown. Every year they have the youngest and oldest recognized, and the winner from 4 years ago is right there. And Mama says she was ready to bring the youngest again this year, but doesn't look like it's going to happen today. If it doesn't happen today, while we're here, in about an hour and a half, they're not going to win the youngest baby award this year. Let's see, Mercedes and Alan Barrett from Swanton. It's a bug. It's a 1965 VW. And how we know it's a 65 compared to a 64, 63, 66, 67? Nobody knows. They all look alike. 65 VW bug. And right next to it, kind of a barn red here, is from West Chazy, Ernest Burrow at a Studebaker. Got it painted up. I'd call it barn red. Not to insult him or anybody. It's just the color that it looks like to me. Nothing wrong with a red barn. In fact, my red barn needs to be painted right now. So, Studebaker. '65. It's a Daytona model. And when we got to this era, Studebaker started to look a lot more conventional, and I no longer had a ill feeling for them. Of course, they don't make Studebakers anymore. If they started to make them look more like this earlier, they would have lasted longer. Here's a 67 Ford Mustang Marvin Fountain from West Chazy. Owns this black beauty. It's got a nice red interior. Chrome wheels. And here is a 1965 Ford Mustang, owned by the barber, Larry Dumas, from Moore's. Well, he is not riding his motorcycle. This is what Larry is tooling around in. 1965 Ford Mustang. It's a convertible. Looks like Sam Fairchild is down there making notes. And here's a yellow 1972 Mustang. Corey Barkholm from Chazy is the owner. Convertible with a white interior.
It was a bicycle rodeo.
A bicycle rodeo 30 years ago, 1975.
Right there on the article, see?
There it is.
Yep.
Who's this skinny kid without the shirt here?
Some kid used to look like me, or couldn't have been me.
Take your shirt off. We'll see what you. No! Oh God! Oh, I was supposed to warn the children first to look away before you do that. Prizes and profits at Old Home Day, Chazy. Some big winner, James Hubble, won this bicycle. Looks like he hasn't ridden it yet. When are you going to learn how to ride a bike?
I've been riding it for 30 years.
You have been?
Yes.
Every day?
I still ride it. It's the only new bike I ever had in my life, and I still ride it.
You ride it every day? How often do you ride it?
2 or 3 times a week.
Do you? Original tires?
No, the tires have worn out, and it always seemed that the back one would wear out first.
That's because you're always spinning and showing off. You kids are like that.
That was probably it.
Putting your brakes on. Of course, you got the front brakes.
Yeah, I'd had hand brakes.
Okay. So you must have been pretty excited. How'd you win a bike rodeo?
Well, they had a slow race where you had to go down the hockey rink, and the slowest one down would be the winner. But what the clincher was when I turned around, I rode a wheelie all the way back. That's what sealed the deal.
Ah, the wheelie back.
Yeah, I was the wheelie king way back in my day.
I see. Could you do a wheelie for us right now?
Probably not.
Probably not.
But
well, you're willing to take your shirt off. Why not do a wheelie for us?
But I'm thinking about making a comeback with the unicycle in the Rouse's Point 4th of July parade.
Oh, we're going to come to unicycle next
There
year?
have been many requests for the unicycle back in 4th of July in Rouse's Point.
When's the last time you rode a unicycle?
Probably about 7 or 10 years ago.
7 or 10. Not 8 or 9, but 7 or 10.
Probably 10 years.
Okay, 10 years. So you think you're going to have to wear a helmet? Not that little pith helmet there, but a real helmet?
No, I'll be wearing the pith helmet, that's for sure.
You better practice before you show up there, though, George.
Oh, I'll have to do a lot of practicing. In 10 years, you can get way out of practice.
Yeah, I imagine. All right, look for that. Next year, 2006. And we got to look at his car here.
This is my latest.
The latest?
My latest trophy from yesterday.
Yesterday.
In Sturbridge, Massachusetts.
First place in what category?
I was in the station wagon group.
In the station wagon.
It was a Four Seasons Rambler Club.
Uh-huh.
And I was the first place in the station wagon group.
Okay, and they give you that,
yeah,
that plaque. You just got to stick your picture in there, and that's it?
Yeah, that's how they did for all the trophies. Instead of trophies, they would just have the plaque, and they'd stick the picture of each individual car.
Uh-huh.
So everybody got the same plaque, but your car was on the trophy.
Uh-huh.
Kind of neat.
That's very neat, but congratulations.
And I just got back about a half an hour ago, unloaded the suitcases, put the bike in the back of the car to come up here for Old Homes Day.
You can't miss Old Home Day. It wouldn't
No.
be fair if you're in Massachusetts on Old Home Day.
Right. This is the hometown.
That's right.
You know.
And plus, you run this bicycle here 30 years ago, so you
Yeah.
gotta-
And I got to show off my new trophy. You see.
that's right. You wanted to, that was the main
Yeah.
reason you came.
Yeah, that was it.
If you hadn't won, you wouldn't be here today. You'd be recuperating. Okay, a 69 Rambler,
Yeah. It's a 440 station wagon.
440.
It has a 232 six-cylinder engine with an automatic transmission and power steering, and has 185,000 miles on the original engine, and it's never been rebuilt.
Ah, that's good.
And it's a daily driver in the summer from April to October. I do my pool cleaning.
The pool cleaner, you got your stuff right on top there, ready to go.
But once that first snowflake flies, that's it. Put it away for the whole winter.
Oh, what's this? You do some water skiing too, or is that how you clean your pool?
Well, those skis are just in case I come across a big snowstorm or something, I can ski my way home.
Oh, okay. And you're traveling late in the fall or early spring, you never know what you're going to run into. All right, congratulations now and 30 years ago. I'll let the record show that Phil Forch hit us in the back of the ear there while we were taping that last little segment with Mr. Hubble. Trying to be a wise guy. But we didn't hardly budge, did we? Here's Patrick and Mary Lou Miller from Swanton, Vermont. And this is a 69 Chevy Camaro. And it's red. And one thing you see at these, almost without exception, you see the fire extinguisher. I think a lot of shows you cannot drive in with your old car without a fire extinguisher. There's another Chevy, a 69 SS Camaro Super Sport 350 V8, Patrick Miller from Swanton. So they got a red one and a green one. Like green was a popular shade back then. Nice to see people from Vermont supporting the Lions Club Old Home Day car show here. Right here, another yellow one. This is a Pontiac Le Mans, 1966. George Stefaniak from Plattsburgh is the owner. And I have a red one coming up here. Looks a lot like a Corvette, doesn't it? It's a 1968 Corvette. 327, Tom Bovey from Cadieville owns it. I used to know what they'd call that roof like that. T-roof or whatever. I had a 67 Corvette for a brief period of time, so I knew a little bit about Corvettes for a very short part of my life, but sometimes you have to get rid of your Corvettes and move on with things, and getting married will do that to you. This is a 67 Ford Mustang. John, well, we'll let you at home read it here. Beatty, probably, from All Sable Forks. 67 Ford Mustang. got a white fire extinguisher. Now we got a long one. It's a 70 Cadillac. Gerald Raymond from Keysville. It's a blue convertible, 43 feet long. If not longer. And I'm not sure what this category is, but again, you got a Cadillac competing with Mustangs and Camaros. I'm not quite sure what this category is. Must be the years, the late 60s. Chevy Camaro, David and Marion Gagnier from Hyde Park, Vermont. It's kind of a maroonish type of red. If I had brought my Crayolas with me, I could have compared the color and told you exactly what it is, but I forgot to bring my Crayola box today. The 128 color box. Here's a little bit of green, a little bit of gold, a little bit of beige. Frank, I'm going to guess McNeil from Ellenburg Depot. Francis McNeil, 68 Chevrolet Impala. Probably bought this at Phil's, huh? Got the 396 chrome. '68 Chevrolet Impala. When I was a kid growing up, I thought owning a Chevy Impala was the height of luxury. 1972 Chevy Corvette, Kim and Kelly Chapman from West Chazy. This is a gray, almost a steel gray, I would call it. Well, looks like the Chapmans have departed. They're out judging other vehicles. Stingray, 72 Corvette. Right next door is a 69 Mercury Cougar. Neil Hansen, I guess, from West Chazy. On the Ashley Road, so that sounds like the starter shop area. Oops. It's a Cougar. We're in Cougar country here. And it's got an Eliminator sign written on it. A lot of vehicles. Looks like the number of vehicles overall is up, I would guess, this year. Kevin Beeman from Chazy on the Stetson Road owns this one. It's a 71 Ford. It's a Torino. I think I've mentioned in one of these shows before that I Traded a 69 Galaxy that I was fond of. But I was only getting about 15 miles per gallon, so decided to trade it in for a 73 Torino. And I went from getting 15 miles per hour with that big 390 Galaxy to getting 13 miles per gallon with that 73 Torino. 73 and 74 were the worst gas mileage vehicles ever. The pollution stuff was getting popular, and they just destroyed the gas mileage, and that's shortly thereafter is when the gas crisis came. This is a 68 Chevy Impala. Mike Flynn from Burke, New York is the owner. Two-door, hardtop. And we got one left in this category. And it's blue, and it's a 71 Chevy Malibu. 6-cylinder, 3-speed, Steve McKenzie from Saranac. Chevy Malibu. That's the category. This is what we've looked at thus far. And if we look at every vehicle, we got all this left to look at here, so I'm not sure if we'll get everything in, but we'll get what we get. We got the King and Queen crowning coming up very shortly, so don't go away. David LaRoche, who is no stranger to unique vehicles. I saw him pulling in with this. Lives about 2.5 miles north of my home. Dave LaRoche. This is a Renegade. It's a 99 Ecstasy. Ecstasy Renegade. With a 454 engine with 425 horsepower. I don't think I'd want to open this little buggy up. Motorcycle type steering. Single wheel in the front. At least 2 passengers, and if you can find somebody willing to get in the back, you can put another couple of them back here. If they promise to keep it under 40, I would probably get in, but a unique vehicle owned by David LaRoche of Champlain. Got a few more motorcycles in here than we've had in the past. This is R. Martin, I would guess Richard Martin, senior probably, huh? 1974 BMW. We got to take a good look at this. Richard and Linda Martin, faithful supporters of Hometown Cable. So he's not driving truck, he's driving this. Looks like he's brushed against something once or twice. And looks like he might take it fishing. He's got a fishing pole with him here. Got the fishing pole right alongside here, ready to go fishing. And let's see, this one got a name with it. Yep, got the leather jacket. It's a lowrider. Fred Manette from Tupper Lake. a Harley Davidson. It's a 2004 lowrider. Nothing quite like a Harley Davidson, is there? Look at all that chrome. And here we have Alan Langevin from Champlain. 98 Harley Davidson. And I hear Gary Finney singing away up there. The bandstand will be up there shortly. A lot of chrome in this. We'd like to just spend the afternoon up there taping the entertainment they have at these old home days. But we wouldn't get the car show done if we did that. But you can come and take in an entertainment. You can still walk around the car show very quickly and get back in there and take in the entertainment. We've seen this vehicle being driven around by Leo Akey Jr. from West Chazy. Another faithful supporter of Hometown Cable, and he's usually wearing this little helmet here too. It's a 1998 Harley Davidson Fat Boy, it's called. Now, why would Leo be riding a vehicle called a Fat Boy? I don't know. It says, what does it say on the side here? 80 cubic inches Fat Boy. Alright, we got Don Alberto going home. So it ain't gonna rain, so he's gonna go home. Taking the back door out. Lumped in this next category is all commercial trucks, vans, and military.
Celebrity Mr. Cashman. How are you, Galvin?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good.
This is a teddy bear collection here. Linda and Roger Tebow from South Burlington, Vermont brought this over. And you don't want to hit too many bumps with this little buggy because you're about 2 inches off the turf as it is. We're going to look at this one and switch our tape, I think. It's a 54. Jerry Seymour owns this Dodge one-ton truck. He's from Plattsburgh. Green cab. 43,000 original miles. Dual wheels in the back. A milk truck type of thing there. You just throw your milk cans in the back. Bring them to the station. If you're looking for a Ranchero, we found one for you. It's a white and red one, as opposed to a red and white one. This one's white with a red stripe. It's a 63. It's Ford. Jesse Charbonneau, no address given. Don't know how he got it here. The registration expired in '85. Let's see, it's got a plate, no plate in the front. But a Ranchero, one of those vehicles that had the look of a car with a pickup bed behind. And they had a limited appeal. It's from Vermont. It's a Vermont plate on it. Somebody who wanted a car but also needed a truck. Now this one is all truck. It's also from Vermont. It's a Chevy. It's monogrammed. And let's see what it is. It's a 1983 Chevy. One owner. 80,000 original miles. Les Myers from Orwell, Vermont owns this vehicle. Original owner. That's great. So that's a 22-year-old vehicle, soon to be 23-year-old vehicle. Next to it is old Dick Matot. I'll call him old because he called me old when I arrived here, and he's 3 years older than me. So he must be very old. Dick Matot from Chazy and his 47 Chevrolet. Not gonna say how old Dick Matot is, but he was potty trained when this truck came out. Not sure if he's potty trained now, but he was when this truck came out. And I think that's the one that Ozzy Sweet has taken pictures of over the years. Now we got some folks sitting next to their vehicle here. It's the Blows from Moore's Forks. Raymond Blow, 1979 Chevy. Enjoying. Looks like the boy wants to shade. Oh, it's one of them Chevy car trucks here. What is this called here? El Camino. Yep, El Camino. Chevy El Camino. This is the truck bed and behind, and the look of a car in the front. So like the Ranchero, this was the Chevy version of that.
Restaurants in Chicago that went to it. Canadian restaurant.
How we doing?
Pretty good.
Good. Here's a vehicle advertising for the Presbyterian Church of Chazy. 200 years. 61 Ford Unibody. Sam Fairchild owns this one. Even got his name on it in case he gets lost in the parking lot and he can't remember which one is his. Original Survivor, not restored. It's a Survivor, not restored. It's just hanging in there. 44 years old and hanging in there. Sam Fairchild.
A pink fanny pack. Batteries in this fanny pack.
I don't see any card with this. I don't see any card with this one.
Sitting there, Clarence, on my right.
It's the truck that's bringing this tea bucket back here.
My gosh. The woman is wearing the lowest cut blouse.
We're going to head up and check out the crowning of the King and Queen before they get into that and we miss out on it. And then we'll hopefully have time to come back and take a look at some more of these vehicles. Don't know if we're going to see them all. We're going to try, but they got a lot of them here this year. And talking with Larry Dumas, he did point out to me, just so I can retract my statement a little bit, he says many of these modifieds, these street rod type vehicles, that they get some of these old vehicles that just can't be salvaged.
Look at that.
They cannot be salvaged and to make them look like they did originally, but they can be salvaged and made into a street rod. So that to me is a good way of preserving them. So I'll back off on that street rod statement I made about an hour ago, and let it lie like that. We're going to head up to the bandstand and eavesdrop on Renee Green, as she is this year's MC. We didn't realize String Bean was singing with Gary Finney here. Leon Langto. Wish we'd known that. Would have made an extra effort to get up here.
Go ahead.
String Bean and Gary Finney.
Owens did it. Charlie Pride did it.
They're going to put me in the movies.
Just a whole bunch of people did this song. Let's see if you remember this one. Go something like this. Johnny Russell wrote this song. If they're gonna put me in the movies, yeah, well, they're gonna make a big star out of me. The biggest fool that ever hit the big time. And all you gotta do is act naturally. The movies are gonna make me a big star. Might win an Oscar, you can never tell. The movies gonna make me a big star, 'cause I can play the part so very well. Alright, now won't you come and see me in the movie? If you do, I know you plainly see the biggest fool that ever hit big time. And all you gotta do is act naturally. Alright, ladies, do a little bit. I'll play a part about a man that's sad and lonely. Well, then I'll beg bone, I'll bended knee. And then I'll play the part, but I won't be rehearsing. And all I gotta do is act naturally. The movies are gonna make me a big star. Might win an Oscar, you can never tell. The movies are gonna make me a big star. And I can play the part so very well. Now won't you come and see me in the movie? If you do, you know you'll plainly see the biggest fool that ever hit big time. And all you gotta do is act naturally. All you gotta do is act naturally. All you gotta do is act naturally. Alright, yes, Lord.
Well, that was Gary Finney's version. I can remember going to the Walmart several years back and listening to Leon Langto's version of that
about
one.
3 or 4 years old, he's running around the song here. Our version of his Merle's song, and he's one of my favorites. So I don't think Merle did anything that wasn't. Here's probably the most famous song he ever wrote. If you've never heard it before, or if you've never heard country and you've heard pop, you've heard this. I'm sure you know this song.
Any moment now, we're going to hear it too.
Today I started loving you again, and I'm right back where I really always been. I got over you just long enough to let my heartache spin. Today I started loving you again. What a fool I was to think that I could get by I should have known the worst was yet to come. That crying time for me had just begun. The day I started loving you again. And I'm right back where I really always been. I got over you just long enough to let my heart expand. Today I started loving you again. Today I started loving you again.
Small Time America. Old Home Day in Chazy, New York.
We're going to do a song right now for
What a great life
Mr.
we
J.
lived. Whoop, it looks like
the last 20 years, every time I was somewhere.
Renee
one
is-
more. Okay, this is it. This is it. We're going. They're throwing us out of here. We got to go to Westport anyway. So we're going to do one more. We're going to do this one for
been thrown out.
Mr. Gay here.
Somebody named Mr. Gay requested this one.
All right. All right. This song was written by a couple of old boys down in Houston, Texas. It was in a motel room just outside of Houston. They wrote this song. They were smoking Marlboro cigarettes and drinking milk. William Whalen had a long time forgotten the dreams that just fell by the way. Yeah, the good life he promised ain't what you living today. He don't understand it, but he does the best that you can. She's a good-hearted woman, loving that good timing man. All right, man. She's a good-hearted woman in love with good timing man. She loves him in spite of his weak ways that she don't understand. Through teardrops and laughter, gonna pass through this world hand in hand. She's a good-hearted woman, loving that good timing man. Yeah, he likes the nightlife, the good life, and those good timing friends. The party's all over, riding Mr. Gay's truck once again. Yeah, you don't understand him, but he does the best that she can. She's a good-hearted woman, loving that good timing man. She's a good-hearted woman in love with a good timing man. She loves him in spite of his weak ways that she don't understand. Through teardrops and laughter, gonna pass through this world hand in hand. She's a good-hearted woman, loving that good time. Man, play a little bit right now, man. We had a good time here this afternoon. We hope you had a good time with us. Come and see us sometime, someplace. The paper's always got where we are. Wake up every morning. I'm not in the obituary, so I know dang well we'll be playing somewhere that day. Thanks a whole bunch, folks. Mr. Leon Light over here on my left. My name's Gary Kennedy. She's a good-hearted woman in love with a good time man. pass through the world hand-in-hand. She's a good-hearted woman, loving a good-hearted man. She's a good-hearted woman, loving a good-hearted man. All right, thank you very much. You have a great day. Stay tuned for the barbershop, because we're going to be right along. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the upstate New Yorkers. Sorry about that. Before we have our King and Queen of Chazy Old Home Days announced, I just want to let everybody know at 2 o'clock, the kids' games will be out in the field. Mr. Joey Trombley will be taking care of that. I see some water balloons and eggs over here, so it sounds like it ought to be some fun. There's prizes for the kids' games also. We also have the oldest and youngest we will be announcing that we're here at Chazy Old Home Days. If there is anyone younger than 31 days old, please come up and let us know, or see Bucket Trombley. Also, if there's anybody older than 96 years old, the same thing. Please come let us know, or see Bucket Trombley, so that we can announce the oldest and the youngest at Chazy Old Home Days. We're going to bring up last year's King and Queen, Glenn and Mary Latrimore, and get ourselves ready to announce this year's King and Queen. Heard everything.
There's last year's King and Queen. Already relinquished their crowns here. They're not wearing their crowns. Glenn and Mary. Mary, this year's alumnus of the year.
Before you go,
Chazy Central.
make sure, sit. This year's King and Queen. The King was born on December 27th, 1935, lived in Chazy all his life, and graduated from CCRS in 1954. The Queen was born October 7th, 1936, lived and went to school in Plattsburgh. They were introduced to each other by a mutual friend and celebrated 48 years of marriage in June of this year. They have raised 4 children, 3 of which still live in Chazy, and they have 8 grandchildren. The King started a construction business over 40 years ago with his brother. One son works in the family business, and this summer 2 grandsons are working by his side. He was a founding member of CCRS's Alumni Association, with his wife helping for many years with the newsletter. He helps with Boy Scouts Pinewood Derby every year by providing the track that the cars race on. He has served as a councilman on Chazy's town board, and he has been a member of Chazy Lions Club for 30+ years. The Queen volunteered in the Girl Scouts when her daughters were young, volunteers her time at the Alice T. Minor Museum conducting tours. She is always available to spend time with her grandchildren, and almost everybody in the area has enjoyed her famous chocolate chip cookies at one time or another. I haven't.
I haven't either.
Both are always happy to volunteer their time for any community event. They enjoy watching NASCAR races, and their favorite drivers are Rusty Wallace and Jeff Pretty Boy Gordon. They can be seen every Sunday singing in the Sacred Heart Church Choir. In the summer months, they can be seen cruising through town in their white Mustang convertible. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our King and Queen, are they here? Is he refusing?
Yes, they're here.
They're here. Dick and Nyla West.
All right, there he is. Now I see him. It was pretty obvious early on who we were talking about, but couldn't spot them in the crowd.
Congratulations, Dick and Nyla, and to come right up here, sit in the seats.
He's done his share of crowning over the years.
Glenn and Mary Latrimore, last year's King and Queen of Old Home Days, will be giving you your crowns. Oh, you have to take your hat off, Nyla, unless the crown will fit over it. Quick, put it on.
Dick has assumed the position. It's a 10-gallon crown.
No, now you have to sit for the paparazzi. Could the barbershoppers maybe sing a quick song congratulating our king and queen? Would you be prepared for that?
Yeah, they have a king and queen crowning song in their back pocket.
Did we put you on the spot?
I'm going to blame it on you, Scott. Funny. Wait.
Whoop.
Just leave, yeah.
Have to. The mic won't go that far.
Do either one of you have any words for your audience?
No, I'm not the one to talk. Dick is the talker, but I want to thank everybody for giving us this honor. And like I said, Dick is the one that deserves this because he's the one that's done all the work for the Lions Club and the town. And I just came along for the ride. It's fun. Thank you very much.
How about Dick? Any words from wisdom from Dick West?
The chorus is going to sing "If All My Dreams Were Made of Gold" for our king and queen.
Great.
It's not Dottie and the Golden Butt Notes, but on the dance. We all know that Dottie and the Golden Notes were Dick West's favorite group. Here's the Cumberland Bay Straw Barbershoppers.
Wonderful. Congratulations, Dick and Nyla. And if your family would like to come up and see you and congratulate you, the West family is all welcome to come up and congratulate their new king and queen.
Anytime you can get Dick West speechless.
While they're getting
worth
their
the price of
the
admission.
West family can come up if you'd like and congratulate them. Come on, make them feel good. Come on, get out there. You can take pictures with them, whatever you want. While they're doing that, I would like to invite all the children up to age 12. All the children up to age 12 to go out to the field for the kids' games. There's all kinds of games to play, prizes to win. So all the kids up to age 12 go out to the field. And in just a few minutes we're going to announce the oldest and youngest at Old Home Days. So if, like I said,
Alright, if memory serves me, we were right about here when we left. I'm trying to avoid listening to the tape playing that they're playing in the background here. Instead of, we try to pipe in the music from the bandstand down here so people won't have to play their own sounds. Alright, Plymouth, owner Meadow Man and Woman from Saranac. It's 1951. It's black with red. It's a rough black, not a shiny black, a dull primer like black. But this is the way they want it to look, and this is the way it looks. 1951 Plymouth. Next to a 1937 Pontiac. Yellow from Wayne Brown of Plattsburgh. We only have about half an hour left to this particular program, so we want to keep moving here. Otherwise we won't be able to see everything if we don't keep moving right along. Here's a 57 Chevy. Michael Beauchamp, I guess, from Plattsburgh. It's a four-door, and it must be modified in some way. The barber shoppers are playing, singing in the background. I went and taped their concert this spring. Thought a few of the members would buy copies of that, but here it is, the end of July, and not one of them bought a copy of the concert that I taped and showed on television. I don't get paid to tape things like that. I don't get paid to be here. We rely on viewer support, and if once in a while we can sell a videotape, it helps keep us going. This is how we make our living. So we're kind of disappointed that the barber shoppers didn't want a copy. I think what happened is a lot of them taped it off from television. Why should we pay that outlandish $15 price when we can get it for free? So that's, thank you for Calvin Castine for coming down and taping the concert. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Alright, this is Sam Fairchild's rebuilt Mercedes here. It's not a rebuilt, it's a kit. That's a 76 Chevrolet with a Mercedes body, I think. It's a kit. Here's a 68 Dodge Charger. Jim Trombley from Chazy. An eagle on the side. Now these muscle cars, I think the more you can doctor them up, the more interesting they are. I don't put them in the same category as the 1930s classic cars here. Muscle cars were made for doctoring up and making into something extra. Here's a Mustang. It's kind of a maroonish color. Jason Garand of Chazy is the 67 Ford Mustang. And again, we're moving along here. We've got a lot of cars to look at, and we're getting short on time. This is a 1970 Chevy Chevelle. Doesn't say the owner's name. Look at the chrome, look at the right through the hood. This is a muscle car with big biceps. And it's got some ribbons, and looks like it's won a few or entered a few contests over the years. Okay, 1970 Chevelle SS, Chevy Chevelle, 1970, owned by Felix. I'm gonna guess, well, might be Laroque, I don't know. Again, we'll look through here and see if we can figure it out. I'm not sure what that name is, from Plattsburgh. Beautiful vehicles here, lots of chrome. If you like muscle cars, they got some beauties here. It's got the nice black interior. Here's a Pontiac 79 Trans Am. Kevin Agnew from Plattsburgh. Needs paint job, but look under the hood and you'll see there's nothing missing there. Yeah, this is a different shade of blue here. Tom Gowett from Moore's 39 Chevy, complete with Tom Gowett. Even the interior is that lavender type of color. A street rod. If you like street rods, this is a beauty. It's like something from American Graffiti, huh? Just see Harrison Ford in this one. Or maybe Tom Gowett. This looks like a Model T type of, Model A type of vehicle. It's a 1930. And Doug Goodfellow from Moore's is the owner. It's blue with some gray. And again, if you like street rods, this is another beauty right here. And being a 1930 Model A, it's got the rumble seat in the back. Gary Warden from Plattsburgh owns a 67 Ford Camaro. 67, Ranchero, not a Camaro. Ranchero. Pay no attention to the guy with the microphone. All he knows is what he reads. And this is a Ranchero. That's the one with the car body and a truck bed. This is one we've seen here before. Richard Mooney from Morrisonville, 37 Nash, a Lafayette model. If you like street rods, like again, you get some real beauties in here. As I said, I prefer, if possible, restoring a car this old to its original look. But for people who like street rods, and there's a lot of people who grew up in the 50s and 60s who certainly grew up in an era of street rods. They got some nice ones here today. Here is Bob Sakura, I guess, from West Chazy. Not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but looks like Sikora, Sakura. 1923. It's a T-bucket. I'm not sure if this is original bodyworks here, if this is a kit or whatever, but looks like it's ready to make some noise on the highways. I know that those weren't the original tires on it back there. Looks like a cloth roof. This is from Vermont. Jim and Linda Trombley from Richmond. It's a 37 Ford. And it is another beauty, and right next to it is this dark burgundy. I'm not sure what color you would call this. Got some fancy artwork on it. Bruce and Donna Boyer from Colchester, Vermont. And you gotta be kind of thin to crawl out of those windows. Nice lines on it. This category is modified special interest in hot rods, and we've certainly seen some hot rods. Roger Tebow from South Burlington, 1933 Ford was turned into this black hot rod. Almost perfect day to be here at this 2005 version of the Chazy Lions Club Old Home Day 2005. '70 Oldsmobile Cutlass, Terry Goslin from Burlington. We're really going to jump through this next group here. Nothing against these cars. The '70 Dodge Bob Banker or Baxter from Plattsburgh. Dodge Challenger. My problem is, and people are going to say, why would he say that on TV? But it's the way I am. This is a Roadrunner, Plymouth, 1970. How we doing? Good. You? Good. All right, Stephen Rasco from West Chazy is the owner of this Roadrunner. And as I was about to say, here it is, July 31st. I haven't worn my sandals that much. '67 Ford Mustang. Debbie Barrett from Swanton. And I'm wearing my sandals today. And not being a Canadian, I don't have my socks on. And I think my toes are getting burnt. So whether I want to be here or not, I'm going to have to look at these and run here. I just can't spend much more time here enjoying these cars. This is Dennis Dupree's 1970 Cougar, Mercury Cougar. A lime green, I would say. Best thing for you to do if you're enjoying this car show, or at least halfway interested, is plan on coming next year. A lot of car shows throughout the year, but this Chazy Old Home Day just seems to have a lot of other things to offer besides a car show. This one's from, this is a 71 Plymouth Duster. It's, I believe, from, it's from Vermont. Yeah, it's a Vermont car. Here we have a Plymouth GTX Alan Fuster from Moore's. It's 1970. And whatever this is, we're going to find out together. Looks like it's a Citroen. It's got a New York plate on it. Tin snail, the plate says. 1970 Citroen. And Jim Niemeyer from Moore's. Jim Niemeyer from Moore's owns this. And what we've got is just a few more vehicles here. And some folks who don't want to be on TV, but they are. And we're not going to be going over these individually. I apologize to all you car owners. But since we're about to be sunburnt, we're going to move on. We did want to at least show them. And we got another row to show after we get done this. This is 73 to 1990 is this category. So this group should be lots of time to catch these in the future. This is called Show Only. I guess they're not entered in the contest. They're just, if you want to bring your vehicle in and show it. You could do that. I guess I should have parked here, then would have had a good parking spot. But the show only category got filled right up. Like everybody wanted to come in here and put their hood up. That will end. Mike Bayshore enjoyed an ice cream over there. I will end our look at the 2005 Chazy Old Home Day Car Show. And it's just a small portion of what the Old Home Days has to offer here in Chazy. A lot of camaraderie and friendship, just old-fashioned community get-together. There are a whole pile of booths on the other side of this field, and a lot of people are over there enjoying those booths. There's entertainment here at this area here throughout the afternoon. So mark that last Sunday in July on your calendar. If you're not going to the Rouse's Point Sportsman's Club barbecue, stop in here. If you are going to the Rouse's Point Sportsman's Club barbecue, stop in here anyway. There's enough time in the afternoon to enjoy both activities. Meanwhile, thanks for watching, and for those of you supporting viewer-supported local television, our thanks to Don DeMars, who stopped us as we're walking around and renewed his viewer support. We appreciate Don DeMaris and all the other folks who care enough about local television to support our continuing efforts. Viewer-supported local television, hometown cable. 2005 Chazy Lions Club Old Home Day. Thanks for watching, and for those of you supporting our ongoing efforts.
Wonderful. Thank you to the Cumberland Bay Chorus. That was so much fun. Before we get on with anything else, there's to Chazy Old Home Days.
Well, just by coincidence, as we were getting ready to leave.
Oh wait, I've got to make one announcement. I forgot. Right after we announce the oldest and the youngest, we will be announcing the winners of the classic and antique car show. So if people want to start heading up here to get their winning plaques. And now the youngest visitor to Chazy Old Home Days was born July 13th at 10:20 p.m. This is his first outing. He's 2.5 weeks old. And his name is Samuel Richard LeBombard. If you want to bring him up here, and maybe Mom can come up too and get his trophy, his first outing, and he gets a trophy with it.
Samuel LeBombard.
Thank you very much, and thank you for bringing him. He's absolutely adorable.
31 days old. The youngest guy here.
Smile for the camera right over here.
Oh, turn around.
Turn right
There
around.
we go. There we go.
There's our youngest visitor to Chazy Old Home Day, Samuel Richard LeBombard, 2.5 weeks old.
2.5 weeks old.
Congratulations.
2.5 weeks old. Okay.
Thank you. And our oldest visitor to Chazy Old Home Days was born on December 28th. Oh, a day before my birthday. December 28th, 1908. Got me by a day. Beulah LaVarnway, 96 years old. Is Beulah still here?
Is Beulah still here? That's a rhetorical question. Where is Beulah?
Lion Tim Parker's going to bring your trophy to you, Beulah. Congratulations and thank you for visiting Chazy Old Home Days.
And Lion Tim Parker. That's L-I-O-N, not L-Y-I-N-G.
And don't forget, at 4 o'clock we will have a band playing over by the beer tent. They used to be known as South Junction, now they're known as Brandon. So from 4 to 6 near the beer tent, make sure you stay for some good music. And now...
Alright, here's Tim
We
Parker.
have Class 1, which is all years from 1930 to 1932. We have number 1. First place goes to George Legnar. We have, is George up here yet?
That's just him and all three. I spin one. Hey, stop.
I see George coming.
Man, you want to hand him elbow?
George Legnard. We knew him when.
Coming again?
Alright, there we go. Now he's got it.
Go right in order. Second place goes to Gerald and Janet Dumas with a 29 Ford Sport Coupe.
Thank you. You're here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very much.
Third goes to Pat Mears with the 1930 Ford A.
Say that name again.
Pat Mears. To 1942 goes to John Dennehy with a 40 Old Series 70. Perfect.
That's for Pat Mears?
Yep. John, thank you. Thank you.
Good. First time. Good.
Class 3, 1943 to 1952. First place goes to Peter Tatro with a 52 Deluxe. Big ones. Christina Godot.
Second place, Terry and Christina Gatto. This is first place.
Peter.
And here is second place.
Thank you. Third place to Frank Henschel with a 50 Chevy Deluxe.
And Frank Henschel. Normally we don't tape this, but since we were here, we're in the shade, our toes aren't burning. We'll stay.
Thank you. Class 4, 1953 to 1962. First place goes to Jack Wintermute with a 58 Bonneville.
I wondered why I couldn't move my right foot. There's
Is Jack out there?
somebody dropped their gum on the cement here.
Sunliner.
Second place is Dick Fozier with his 55 Ford.
Jack?
Oh, there's Dick Fozier.
Jack, it's a big one.
There you go. Congratulations.
Nope. Are you Dick or Jack? That's Jack.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
Jim Goulet gets third with a 60 Olds 88. Thank you for coming again.
Congratulations.
That would be that one. Class 5, 1963 to 1972. First place goes to David and Marlene Gagne with a 67 Camaro. Okay, we're out of there if you want. Second place to George Stefanik with a 66 Pontiac Le Mans. And third to Marvin Fountain with a 67 Mustang. Thank you.
Again, the entrants are the entrants are the ones who voted.
Marvin Fountain. Class 6, 1973 to 1990. It's a large year for this class, and if we get some more next year, we'll probably have to start splitting it up a little more. We had 14 entries. First place goes to Diana Seymour with an 88 Trans Am. Second place goes to Dale Robart Sr. with an 86 Monty SS. And third to Nayoka LaRue with an 81 Camaro Z28. LaRue. That would be third. Class 7, 1964 to 73 Factory Muscle. First place to Dennis Dupree with the 70 Cougar. Is he here or is he over at the beer tent? Second place, Bob Baxter with a 70 Dodge Challenger. Dennis Dupree.
Here? Coming?
Yeah. And third to Stephen Rasco with a 70 Roadrunner. Thank you. Second place.
Congratulations. Third? Just third?
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Class 8, we have modified hot rods, street rods, you name it. There's a whole batch of beautiful cars down there. We have a first place to Felix LaRue, 70 Chevelle SS. Coming right here. Yeah, it's just I think it was cracked on the side. Second place to Jim Trombley with a 68 Dodge. And I know he's at the beer tent. Third place to Gary Warden with a 67 Ranchero. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Congratulations.
So second place for Jim. Class 9 Commercial. We have first place to Jerry Seymour with a 54 Dodge 1-ton. Thanks, Jerry. Second place to Linda and Roger Tebow. with an F100 1956. Third place to Jerry Charbonneau with a 63 Ranchero.
Accepting is A-Rod.
Class 10 motorcycles, the first year for it. I'm sure we'll have a lot more next year after their buddies get out and tell everybody about having a class now. We have first place to Leo Akey Jr., 98 Harley. Second place goes to Alan Langevin. I told you it didn't matter how you came in, right?
Leo?
And third to Frederick Manette with an 04 Harley Dynaglide. I want to thank everybody for showing up. Appreciate it. Lions Club is here for the community, and if there's anything we can do next year, just give us some suggestions. We'll be here again, same time. Thank you.
It's 3 o'clock. The awards have just been handed out, and people are leaving. So if you want to see all the cars, get here early. And we're going to take this opportunity to once again call it a day. The 2005 Old Home Day at Chazy. It went a little bit longer than we thought. Here we thought we were out of here, but with the youngest and oldest being recognized and the car show participants being recognized, we thought we'd stick around and get that. So again, thanks for watching, and for those of you supporting our continuing efforts. Hometown Cable. That'll do it. Northeastern Clinton will advance to the Section 7 Division 2 final, where they'll face the winner of Saranac and Saranac Lake. We're assuming that would be Saranac, but we'll find out when we read tomorrow's Press Republican. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and for those of you supporting viewer-supported local television, Hometown Cable TV that's worth your support. That game should be right here at the Rouse's Point Civic Center, and our intention is to be here for it. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and for those few of you who are supporting Hometown Cable, viewer-supported local television, win, lose, or draw TV worth your support.